Some episodes may contain graphic content or sensitive topics, while all episodes will consistently feature offensive language and absurd speculations from two opinionated women on a spiritual journey just trying to figure shit out. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, I'm Heather, and I'm here today with my co-host Sharon.
Hello.
Welcome to Hexhaven. This is a doozy.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. After covering Aleister Crowley, I decided to explore Lilith's story.
Yeah. Okay. Because what I know of Lilith is from Supernatural, where she's a demon.
Yeah.
And then I know that some people worship Lilith as a goddess.
Yes.
And that's the extent of my knowledge on Lilith.
Which I know, now that I'm thinking about it more, there's references in a lot of things. We've mentioned before Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the new one. There's an episode about Lilith.
Oh, okay.
And then there's just other TV shows, involve supernatural content or stuff that will mention a Lilith or have a Lilith character. And I'm like, oh, I didn't realize how much she was a part of this. But being someone who did not grow up with religious books are very foreign to me.
Yeah.
Yes. And considering the Bible was originally written in Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek, it's truly like doing research in a foreign language.
It is.
Something for me that I did not think was going to be a good resource, but it was super helpful, was YouTube.
Okay.
There was a lot of great videos available where the creators explain concepts in simple terms.
Man, YouTube is, I'm telling you right now, I learn about half of the topics that I want to cover by watching YouTube videos.
Really?
Mm-hmm, because you can get full episodes of things from the History Channel on YouTube. Do you have an Amazon TV?
No.
Okay,
I have an Amazon account, Amazon Prime.
I have an Amazon TV, and there's always this channel that pops up because of all the shit I research, I'm sure, but it's Gaia, the Gaia channel.
Oh.
And you have to pay for it on Amazon Prime as a separate channel, but you can also watch all the videos on YouTube for free.
Oh, well, that seems better.
Yeah, so I've been using YouTube a lot more than some of my streaming services.
Which I don't really think of it as a resource when I'm doing research until now. Mm-hmm. I've used it how do I take out this drain cover?
Yeah, help me put the new oil in my car.
Yes, I've used it in that sense to help myself
learn how to do something.
Achieve something or do something.
I actually used YouTube to teach myself how to crochet.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's a great resource.
It is.
That's how I learned how to install the vent on the top of my camper.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It didn't come with any instructions, and I didn't know how to do it. So I went to YouTube, and I found all these great people that gave me tips and stuff. And then I knew what tools exactly I needed and everything. Yeah. So it was a great resource. And I'm so glad that I kind of stumbled across these because, reading
Bible is rough.
It's rough. It's really
even reading
rough.
Christian person recounting it.
Yes.
That is also tough to read,
It's definitely tough to read. All of this information that I have is from YouTube. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate all the contributors, and we'll definitely put a list of them, the ones that I at least read. Yeah, because they were really great. So I want to start off by saying Lilith is not mentioned by name in the canonical Bible.
Okay.
So,
and is that the one that we use now?
Yes. I had to look up what canonical means. And
I have no idea.
I looked up how to pronounce it as well.
Okay.
But it refers to something that is accepted as part of a recognized set of texts or rules, particularly within religious context.
Okay.
In the case of the Bible, canonical describes the books that are officially accepted as scripture by a particular religion. For example, the canonical books of the Catholic and Bible both include the Old and New Testament, while the Protestant Bibles have a different set of canonical books.
Okay.
The term can also apply more broadly to any body of laws, rules, or text that are officially sanctioned.
Part of so it's your creed.
Yes.
Like you're reading.
Yeah, because I'm like, I've always just known it as the Bible. I didn't know it as canonical.
Right.
But that's the fanciest term for it then.
Okay. Now we're being all official.
Right? So she did not appear in that official Bible.
Okay.
But she appears in some Jewish folklore and mystical texts, particularly in the Babylonian Talmud and medieval literature.
So I wonder why she was removed from the canonical Bible.
Well, we'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there. In these sources, she's often a night demon or a figure associated with seduction or danger. The idea of Lilith has evolved over time, becoming a symbol of female independence and rebellion in various interpretations.
Yeah, and so that is the goddess, the worship that I have seen, witnessed in others, is very feminine in nature.
Right.
Like, fuck the man kind of thing.
Yeah, we'll get to
fuck
that.
the man because they're all assholes to me kind of thing.
Right.
Like, it seems like a path of being hurt by men is what led a lot of women to Lilith.
Right.
As a goddess.
Mm-hmm,
you know?
Absolutely. So being someone that's not religious and reading through a lot of things, I think that it's important that I just talk a little bit about the contents of the Bible. Mm-hmm. The Christian Bible is considered to have three versions: a Catholic, a Protestant, and an Eastern Orthodox version.
Okay. So those are the denominations of
those are the
the big ones. Or?
Yep, those are the main denominations of Christianity.
Okay.
So the Catholic Bible predates the Protestant Bible.
Okay.
The first complete Catholic Bible in Latin was translated by St. Jerome in the late 4th century, around 382 to 405 A.D.
That's crazy.
The first printed edition of the Latin Bible was produced in the 1450s.
Interesting.
Very interesting. The first complete Protestant Bible was referred to as the Luther Bible and was published in German in 1534.
So there's the Lutheran of it all. So I guess I never realized Lutheran and Protestant were of similar nature.
Yeah. And you can see, like, one is published in German, another was published in Latin, and then it was translated. All these different languages, the translations are different.
Oh, of course.
You know?
Whatever was in that original Bible that was found is not what is in the Bible that we are reading today. That's for sure.
Right?
It's like a game of telephone.
It is.
You know?
Absolutely. And that's where I struggled doing researching. A lot of the stuff was, like, heavy on the Catholic Bible when I was, trying to research it, reading scholarly things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is honestly a little one-sided here.
Of course.
So that's what led me to YouTube, because I was like, there's got to be someone else that can explain this better, But the Protestant Bible has 66 books, which I did not know this.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it consisted of books.
I did know that because there's like the Book of Job. There is different books within the Bible, so I guess I didn't know there was that many though.
The Protestant Bible has 66 books, 39 in the Old Testament and 27 in the New Testament.
Okay.
Girl, I didn't even know what an Old and a New Testament was. I thought those were separate books from the Bible.
I thought the same thing.
I didn't know they were in the Bible. I thought you had the Bible, the Old Testament, and the New Testament.
Oh, okay.
I didn't realize.
So what I always thought was you have today's Bible, this much of it was from the old version of the Bible, and then this much is new stuff that we've added.
Right. But that's not how it works.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And so the Catholic Bible has 73 books.
Okay.
46 in the Old Testament, which include 7 deuteronomical books.
Deuteronomical books.
Yes. And those 7 deuteronomical books are called Tobit, Judith, the 1 and 2 Maccabees, and then there's 2 other sections in Esther and David.
Okay.
And there's 27 books in the New Testament. In the Old Testament, it had 39 books. Mm-hmm. Of the 39 books, these are the only ones that I recognize names of.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to go through all 39. But Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Joshua, Psalms,
Psalm. It's Psalm.
Psalms? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Yep,
See,
yep. And
I don't even know about Bible.
Thank you. Thank you, Christian elementary school.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even know.
They used to make the kids, they had to memorize a Bible verse every week. And they had to memorize the verse, and then they had to memorize like Psalm verse.
It's called Psalm?
Yeah, Psalm.
Wow. And then a proverb, which I wanted to say proverb.
I always thought proverb. I always thought it was proverb.
But proverb.
Okay.
Isaiah and Jeremiah. Those are the most common to me.
Yeah.
The New Testament has 27 books, and of those, the most common are Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Romans, Corinthians, James, Peter, John, Jude, and Revelation. So in the Old Testament, this is where Lilith is actually mentioned in the book of Genesis. The book of Genesis is the first book of the Bible. It serves as the foundational text of both Judaism and Christianity. It contains narratives that explain the origins of the universe, humanity, and the Israelite people.
So you can find Adam and Eve there, I'm sure.
Yep. The book of Genesis is divided into two main parts. Chapter 1 through 11 telling the story of God and the whole world, and chapters 12 through 50 focusing on the story of God and his family. The book of Genesis is said to have been written by Moses, but of course, most scholars argue that it was written by multiple authors. You know, some religions say it was written by this person, and, you know, like Moses contributed, but he didn't write it.
Moses wasn't there. So how does Moses know for sure?
I don't know. I mean, how does anyone know for sure?
We don't.
So when it comes, so now we're getting to the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
Now we're going to talk a little bit about the Adam and Eve creation. Okay. In the biblical book of Genesis, there appears to be two contradictory accounts of how humanity was created. The first account is from Genesis 1-27. I mean, that refers to like the chapter. So that's in
it's like
the section, the chapter, the line or something, the paragraph.
I want to say you say it like Genesis 11 verse 12.
Yes.
Like that. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't say it like that, but that's how religious people would say it.
That book of Guinness over there, that's got my girl Eve.
That's got my girl Eve in it. I reckon she's in verse 27. All right. So the first account is in Genesis 1, verse 27.
Okay.
And this is what it said. So God created humankind in his image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. Okay. The second account, this is from the Genesis 2, chapter 7, verses 21 and 22.
Okay.
This is what the account is. Then the Lord God formed man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being. So the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon the man, and he slept. Then he took one of his ribs and closed up its place with flesh. And a rib that the Lord God had taken from the man, he made into a woman and brought her to the man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So here is where the major debate arises, is the idea of Eve not being Adam's first wife, but rather he was initially paired with the demonic figure Lilith. Because the first account suggests that a man and a woman were created at the same time.
Equal.
Mm-hmm. While the second account suggests that man was created first and a woman was created from the rim of the man.
Right.
So some scholars argue that the second account is just a more detailed narrative of the first account, while other scholars consider these to be two separate situations and think this is evidence of there being another woman before Eve.
Yeah.
Proving the existence of Lilith has been difficult for many scholarly people, and quite honestly, difficult for me.
Yeah.
It seems as if the legend is mostly speculation, and because ancient texts are interpreted differently through various religion, there is really like no solid answer of her until you get to the alphabet of Ben Sira.
Which is what?
Man, this is interesting. The first time Lilith is mentioned with an association of the idea of creation is in the Alpha Betha de Ben Sira from 1858.
Okay.
Which is considered to be a satirical Jewish work told by an anonymous writer, Ben Sira.
Okay.
The alphabet of Ben Sira is one of the earliest, most complicated, and most sophisticated Hebrew stories written in the Middle Ages.
Okay.
Okay. So this dude basically wrote a bunch of stories, Jewish stories.
Yeah.
And one of them is Lilith. And so some scholars say that he's not like a scholarly person or a historian, that these are just fictional stories.
It's his how do you say that?
Theology, philosophy.
Theosophy.
Oh, I can barely say satire. How do you expect me to help you pronounce another?
Theology. That's what it is.
Okay, there you
Which
got
is
it.
religion.
Right.
That's what.
Some people just think it's fictional.
Yeah.
They were just made up stories. So the tale explains that Lilith was Adam's first wife and that she was created alongside of Adam, which is weird to me that if it is fiction, what a strange story to come up with.
Yeah.
That reflects something that is in the Bible.
Yeah, but I'm going to be real honest. I think that a lot of religious text is just one person's perception of the stories.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I honestly think the Bible is one big story.
Yeah, right. So
it's not to be mean or rude to religious people, but it's a story.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be followed as intensely as it's followed because we don't really know.
Right. The issue that I have with it is people make their own interpretations of what the stories are meant to tell us. Mm-hmm. It's, I think, meant to be more of like a guide or like a cautionary tale than it is supposed to be, this is how you have to worship.
Right.
This is how you have to live your life to go to heaven.
Right.
You know, I just think that man took the stories and made them into something bigger.
Well, and I think you see that with any church, especially all these like mega churches, like they are going to interpret every paragraph and line however they want to keep their followers in line.
Oh my God. I saw
no, this one means that you don't wear red shoes on Sunday. Like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And it's, what?
I saw this, there's a lot of shit going on in the political world these days. Everybody is aware, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And I was watching this video, after Trump came out with the executive order to create the House of Faith. I saw this video, and this pastor was like, but whose Christianity are you asking for?
Right.
Is it the Christianity of the Nazis that put to death all of the Jews during the Holocaust? Is it the Christianity that hates gay people? Is everybody has their own version of what Christianity is and what the beliefs are meant to teach you and how you're supposed to live your life based off of those.
Right.
Off of those stories. So, yeah, there's 100 billion different versions of Christianity inside of everybody's head.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think like especially when it comes to ancient texts and everything, I think that there's one part of it that was a factual real event, and then over time, like telephone.
Stories get spun, man.
Yeah, it's like playing telephone. And because this is what something happens to be in writing, this may be considered factual information or, but okay. So back to this. The tale explains that Lilith was Adam's first wife and that she was created alongside Adam. However, unlike Eve, Adam and Lilith did not coincide and were not compatible sexually.
Okay.
The text of Ben Sira explains that Adam always assumed the top position during sex.
Wow.
But that Lilith wanted that position for herself. You fucking go, girl.
Get it, girl. Yeah.
It's fucking tough being up there. You got to be fit as fuck to be up there.
It is tough to be up there. But it also is very fun.
It is.
As long as you got the stamina.
Yeah.
Stamina.
Yes.
Not stamina.
Yeah, so essentially, Lilith aspired to be dominant during sex, and it's implied that Lilith wanted to be seen as Adam's equal, but Adam didn't want that. And in addition to, this alphabet of Ben Sira, like the YouTube videos, a lot of them are very heavy on admitting it was all over a dispute over who was on top for sex.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? That's what it comes down to?
Well, I have to say I am not surprised because in my mind, even if we go back to the Genesis 1, Genesis 2, sounds like some dusty old white dudes were like, oh shit, these women are going to start to think they're just as good as we are if we leave it at that. So now we need to add this other story so that they can be reminded that we're better than them.
And that is exactly my take when I was like, oh, you guys recreated something because, absolutely, because she wasn't going to be subservient.
It will keep the people in the community following that.
Yeah, and maybe this dude knew that, and this was his way of exposing it.
Right.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, Lilith packed her stuff and flew away. Flew away.
Like Superman?
Yeah.
That'd be kind of fucking cool. You know what? You have shitty sex. I'm fucking out of here.
A lot of people said flew away or went away. Later, you'll see other names that she's referred to where the flying concept. Because already they think now because she wants to be on top, she's already demonic, so she can fly.
She's a daemon.
Mm-hmm. Yep. In the text of Ben Sira, Lilith actually utters the name of God, which in Jewish traditions is something sacred and shouldn't be spoken. There's a lot of religions. I had a friend in high school. Her mom hated if you went, oh God.
Yeah.
She'd be like, don't say God's name in vain.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh God.
Yep. Yeah. Oh Jesus Christ.
Fucking, give me every name in the Bible. I'll fucking say it. So after she leaves the Garden of Eden,
Garden of Eden.
That's a new garden.
What up, Ian?
It's an offshoot of the Garden of Eden.
That's where Lilith actually lives now.
She wasn't in Eden. She was in Ian.
Yeah.
After she leaves the Garden of Eden, Adam's upset and he turns to God to explain what had happened, and it appears
what had happened
and it appears that God takes Adam's side. So he's like, hey, Lilith left, she wanted to be on top. I
can't have that.
I can't have that.
It makes me feel small.
I had to lay down the law and tell her what was up, and he was like, oh, okay, cool. So whether God was angry at Lilith for uttering his name or angry at her for not assuming the subservient role with Adam is not known. But God is so insulted that he actually sent 3 angels to hunt down Lilith and drag her back against her will.
Jesus.
Yes. But when the angels found Lilith by the Red Sea, she would not return with them. And despite their orders from God, Lilith remained defiant. Lilith proposes a deal to the angels while she suddenly assumes the role as a killer of children and men. So this is where she becomes the killer of children and men, supposedly in this Ben Sira story.
Okay.
So she proposes.
That's what she's offering?
Well, no. So she proposes a deal to the angels, but in this point in the story is where she suddenly assumes the role of a killer of children and men.
Okay.
She's not saying I'm a killer of children and men. This is where the story assumes.
Yeah.
So she proposes a deal, supposedly, and she promises that she will not hurt or harm any boy or man if they are protected by an amulet that has the name of 3 angels who chased her inscribed on them. So those 3 angels, they need to have an amulet that says their 3 names on it to protect them. Otherwise, she's going to kill children and men. I mean, that's what they're saying. In some interpretations, it's understood that God created Lilith as an evil entity from the very, very beginning.
Okay.
In these versions, Lilith was made to kill children. The angels who had chased her down were relentless and would not leave her alone until she finally came to the deal that she would not harm anyone if they wore that amulet displaying their names. Once the deal was struck, the angels left her alone. This whole thing is really heavily focused on praising those. She's evil and praising those angels.
Yeah.
You got to have an amulet with our names, or
Or, yeah, your Lilith is going to come and get you.
She's going to kill your babies. But she's not saying she's going to do this. They're saying she's going to do it, is my interpretation.
Right. Because I want to know where she went from I want to be on top to I want to
I'm going to kill all men and babies. I could see her maybe being like, I'm going to kill some men because she was fucking done wrong by Adam and God.
Yeah.
They're men. Fuck them.
But at the time that she was created, there was no other man.
Right. You know, maybe that would be why she would want to create other men, because she doesn't want men to exist. But then if it's just her and Adam, how are more babies getting made?
Man.
It's story loopholes.
Yep.
Loopholes. It's also interpreted that Lilith became a demon after leaving the Garden of Eden, and then she established her own purpose to produce more of the demon offspring. When the angels learned of this, they were willing to accept her deal as long as one of the demon offspring were killed every day, ultimately reducing the potential of the evil in the world. So this scenario is saying the angels found her and she's, no, I'm just out here making demon babies. I ain't going back to God.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, okay, we'll let you do that as long as you wear an amulet with our names on it and you kill one demon baby a day. And she's like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll stay out here.
You know what? This is like in Supernatural, she was the first demon. Lilith was the first demon.
Like
and
the
first ever demon, and that's why she had to be killed.
Oh, yeah.
In order for Lucifer to come out from hell.
I mean, it's appearing this way,
and so
in
that's
these writings.
Kind of what I'm saying is like that's how they're portraying her.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that she was just a person. I didn't realize that they're trying to spin this whole rhetoric now of this is where demons come from
right?
Lilith.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, isn't this wild? I never knew I would be doing research on this.
Wow. I mean, it's cool. It's interesting.
It's super
very
interesting.
telling about how the faith valued women.
Right. Yeah.
From the get-go.
So anything in later legends, Lilith is said to appear as a beautiful woman whose only intention is to seduce men so that she may spawn demon children. She's also said to rape men in their sleep.
So she's a succubus.
Yes. And that's another version of her I see, is the succubus. In more modern times, the concept of Lilith has been hijacked by feminist movements as a way to reflect their own emancipation in their male counterparts. Lilith serves as an inspiration in these movements, which we see.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's all hail Lilith.
Yeah.
You know.
And I see, too, that it's instead of, like, the concept of, like, Lilith is a real person that I'm praying to for help, it's more of the concept that she represents is what, for them, brings them power.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. As far as the Bible goes, as this is a biblical story, Lilith appears only once in Isaiah chapter 34, verse 14, which refers to a demoness of the night.
Okay.
It comes about when Isaiah is explaining God's judgment and what the landscape of Eden will come to look like in the time of the final days after the harassment of Israel and God's people. Isaiah is quite vivid in his description, where in some translations he states,
okay,
wild cats shall meet with hyenas, goat demons shall call to each other. There to Lilith shall repose and find a place to rest. Let me tell you, this shit in the Bible reads awful.
Yeah.
Awful. I think of the scene in the original Beetlejuice where they get the book of the recently deceased.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, this reads like stereo instructions or something.
Yeah.
You know? That's what I think of, where I'm like, this is just nonsense.
Yeah.
But what does Isaiah mean by this? Well, the translation Isaiah is referring to or borrowing from Jewish folklore about the night demons who prowls at night hunting men. So now here she's referred to as a night demon.
Mm-hmm.
The use of Lilith in this passage aims to convey just how much destruction the people of Eden would suffer at the hands of God. They will be plagued upon by wildcats, goat demons, and finally Lilith herself. So some might say that Isaiah is indeed actually referring to Lilith, the first woman as told in the ancient Jewish story of Ben Sira, and that is her who's returning to contribute to the calamity of Eden. So other translations of the Bible, however, omit Lilith entirely, and she was referred to simply as a screeching night owl. In my research, she is referred to as a screeching owl, a night creature, a female demon, a night demon, a succubus. She's even referred to as an Aishafzanunan, which means woman of whoredom or woman of prostitute in Kabbalah. Yeah, a good old woman. You can't say
woman of whoredom.
Yes, you're not even a hoe. You're a woman of whoredom. Like, that is a fucking title.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, like, how demeaning.
Yeah.
Like, now she's a whore, too?
Right.
Like, fucking
For
A.
what reason? Just because she wanted to be on top.
It's stupid. Another interesting account implies that Lilith was jealous of the happy life Adam and Eve led in paradise and is an act of revenge. So in this scenario,
now she's jealous.
Oh, yeah.
He's got bad sex, so she leaves him, but now she's jealous.
Super fucking jealous that he's getting real bad sex. Oh, my God. As an act of revenge, she assumed the shape of a serpent and tricked Eve, forcing her to taste the forbidden fruit, which caused the couple to be expelled from the paradise. It is thought that she couldn't get revenge on Adam because he was her equal, so she couldn't cause harm on him. So she had to come up with a devious plan to manipulate
Isn't
Eve.
that interesting that they put that little tidbit in there about how Eve is not equal to Adam?
But she can't seek revenge on him because he is equal to her.
Yeah.
She comes up with this devious plan to manipulate Eve and trick her into eating the forbidden fruit from the tree of knowledge.
Jesus fucking Christ. And this is why I'm not a fucking Christian.
This is why I'm not religious, period. Like, this is all fucking nonsense to me. To me, this is all just fictional. There is Renaissance artwork called The Fall of Men, in which the serpent is a female. And later artists such as Michelangelo also followed the idea and paint the role of the serpent not as a snake, but as women. So even and you have to think of like way back in the day, oil paintings.
Yeah.
These were a part of storytelling as well.
Yeah.
And so anytime that they did paintings of...
If they wanted to represent wickedness, they put a woman.
They put Lilith, yeah.
Poor Lilith.
So modern excavations have since uncovered an abundance of amulets, all of which backdate thousands of years. These amulets are inspired by the Jewish tale of Ben Sira, when Lilith declares that only the amulets bearing her name of the angels who chased her can be used to defense against her.
Okay.
It seems that the use of these amulets has been taken quite literally, and there are sections in Jerusalem today that sell the amulets.
Wow.
Yeah, to those who are seeking defense against the wandering dynamic entity of Lilith.
Okay.
Lilith is often regarded as the first feminist. Many claim that Lilith was unfairly demonized like most women in our history who have attempted to defy the patriarchy.
Yeah.
I kind of think there was a first woman, whether it was Lilith or not.
Yeah.
I think there was.
Yeah.
I mean, everything that I read, I feel like there was. I don't think she became a demon. I think she became really pissed off at the only fucking two dudes she knew.
Yeah.
Like, that banished her from this beautiful place.
Right.
So
because she wanted to be on top.
all
Like, what a
because she
shitty
wanted to be on top.
reason.
All because she wanted to show dude a good time.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, dudes today would be like, come on, baby.
Right, they'll be
You want to be on
begging.
top?
Yeah.
Like, I've been waiting for this. Get
I
up
know.
there.
And then here this dude's like, oh no. Like, we ain't doing this.
Man.
But I
Poor
want to
Eve, too. Like, you gotta be stuck with that fucker.
that fucking lame ass missionary position motherfucker.
Vanilla sex having motherfucker.
Vanilla sex. Ugh. Good grief. So I want to take some time and talk about Jesus with you.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you have a moment to talk about our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ?
Ding dong. So I've always thought this. Jesus is ethnically Jewish. And he was born in Bethlehem and grew up in Nazareth, both of which are part of like present day Israel.
Yeah.
Geographically, Israel is a Mediterranean climate which is hot, dry summers and mild, wet winters. So they don't have extreme cold during the winter months like we do, right? As a Jewish man in the first century, he would have darker skin.
Oh, yeah.
So why is he always a bearded white man with blue eyes?
Yeah.
Why?
I have no idea.
And then wouldn't he have brown eyes, brown hair, a golden brown skin? It's not like they had sunscreen in the first century. I mean, they may have had some herbs that they used as lotions or something, but I don't think they were worrying about SPF or anything.
Absolutely not.
But
no.
I think
he was a darker skinned, and even like there are parts in the Bible that describe him as a darker skinned, dark hair person of Middle Eastern descent.
I want to say when I was looking, I was trying to find a scholarly source other than trying to read through the fucking Bible.
Yeah.
That gave a good description of him, but most of it said there is no description. I mean, in the sense, like, they're not going to say, he was 6'4" and 200 pounds. His penis was approximately 4 inches, one flaccid.
One flaccid.
I mean, there's obviously not going to be that kind of description, but you have to assume that he's a Jewish man that lives in a Mediterranean climate.
Yeah.
You know, and there's that most common, like, iconic, if you were to look up, like, portrait of Jesus, where the side of his face.
Yeah.
Almost any religious person probably has this in their house. I brought it up on my phone. I'm looking at it, and I, like, zoomed in. I'm like, why does he have blue eyes?
Yeah.
Like,
because, and so here's the thing, too, that every person, no matter what God you are talking about, you have a vision in your head of what that God looks like.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
For me, Thor always looks like Chris Hemsworth. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that.
No matter what.
No matter who you are. So I agree, it is common for people to assume that their God looks like them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you can't just whitewash everything.
Right. And that was my first thought. Yeah.
Like
wow, this has really been some whitewash shit.
Yes. There are no images of Jesus depicted as darker skin.
No. Mm-mm.
I mean, I'm sure there are now today.
Really creepily, though, there were some pictures I was like, God, I don't know if it's my age or I've just been single for too long, but he looks kind of hot.
You're like, come here, Daddy.
I know. I was like, oh, God, a bearded man? Good Lord. Like, go, Jesus. But I was like, oh, man, that's wild.
Yeah.
Come here, Daddy.
You ever watch The Walking Dead?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So you know what Jesus looks like on The Walking Dead?
Yeah.
Okay, so that Jesus is hot.
Oh, yeah.
And I always thought the same thing that clearly they named him Jesus in the show for a reason, but
right,
what everybody is depicting Jesus as, that's what he looks like.
A slimmer white man with long hair, a little bit of a beard, attractive, Yeah. I'm like, why are you going to make Jesus hot? Like, that can't be right.
Right.
I mean, like, could you imagine? Oh, my God. I'm sure someone has made it out there, like some artist. Like, a picture of him shirtless with, like, ripped abs.
There is.
Oh, is there really?
Is hundreds
oh, my God,
of ripped
is that
Jesus
is
pictures.
There, like,
That's
Jesus
a kink.
Porn?
It's a kink, man.
That feels super weird
Don't
and
look
gross.
that up at work.
Oh, my God. No. I've learned my lesson from that. No. Oh, my God. Could you imagine? Like, Jesus porn. What would you even look?
Oh, my God.
Like, oh, my God, that's a thing. Just cool.
Imagine hooking up with somebody.
Oh, God, what are you going to say?
I don't know. Like, they, like, go on your laptop and see that you're looking up Jesus porn. Like, they will either make themselves look like Jesus real quick or they will leave real quick.
Yeah. I don't think there's much in between when it comes to that.
Dude, they open up your bedroom door and you just have a shrine to, like, kinky Jesus in there.
Now I just want to get, like, a kinky Jesus picture. Jesus. Oh, God. Oh, I didn't even know. Gosh, that's so funny. But
oh, my God. Wait for this week. I'm going to be sending you so many shirtless Jesus pictures.
Oh, my God, I can't wait to see them. I really can't wait to see them. So now that we've thoroughly talked about Jesus
and his 4-inch flaccid penis.
4-inch flaccid penis. Oh my!
If there is a God, we're going straight to hell.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. Some things that I was thinking about when I was doing all this research is what different beliefs have in common, and I thought of this. Witches cast spells. Spiritualists believe in manifestation. Atheists acknowledge the placebo effect. And scientists are convinced by quantum physics. Mm-hmm. Despite their differences, these all involve the power of the mind, belief, and intention.
Yeah.
They all believe in the same thing, just differently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that's really interesting.
It is. You know, we've talked before about, for me, I believe that the true power in this world lies with using the mind. I mean, you can trick yourself into believing anything.
Absolutely.
And
and I think of it was really huge for women to make vision boards. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's manifestation.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if women still do that.
They do. It's called Pinterest.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. Well, but no, that people really do my sister-in-law.
Pinterest is things that you like. It's not really
but you
your
have different
goals.
You have different boards though for different reasons. So my sister-in-law, she did make an actual vision board. Mm-hmm. It was how she wanted to do her table when she was having a large dinner party.
Okay.
And she used a vision board, but she got all the stuff from Pinterest. Pinterest you can do I had my wedding. I have a board for my wedding.
Oh,
so
sure,
all the things I wanted to incorporate in my wedding, I put on there.
I don't have a board for career. Mm-hmm. Why would I?
No, I don't have one for career, but I have different remodeling, different rooms in my house for things I want to remodel.
Sure.
So I have my remodel one, and then it has little subcategories that is living room,
I
main
definitely
bathroom.
have things backyard ideas.
Yeah, backyard. I got one of those.
For my campsite ideas. I have different things like that, but I don't think that's truly, to me, what a vision board. I don't know.
Yeah, vision board is that a way for you to compile everything that you want to incorporate to you brings the vision of the final
I guess you're
state,
right. Yes, if
know?
I'm creating a vision of what I want this design to look like, this bathroom, that's the vision board. Yep. I'm thinking of it in the sense of vision board to me is more what you want out of your career and your love life.
Your aspirations.
Your aspirations.
Yeah.
And that I don't have Pinterest boards for.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had one for relationships, it definitely would have fucking Jesus in it. For now. I mean.
Right.
But I don't have that Pinterest.
I'm going to have to check on you. We got to get you laid because you're going to be well, I just imagine you walking down the beach, thinking that you're holding hands with Jesus. And I'm just Heather, what you doing here? Oh, I'm just taking a walk with my man,
I don't think I will ever be that delusional.
I hope not.
Oh, God, I hope not either. Good Lord. All right. That is Lilith. Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Do you think there's a substance of her being real? Just a trace of her being real? Or...
Yeah. Yes, in the sense of if you're talking about believable things from the Bible,
right.
I think that would rank up there.
Right.
But it's difficult for me to really say because I also don't believe in Adam and Eve.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the story, but that to me, Adam and Eve has always been nothing but a story.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never really thought of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess that comes into the whole concept of evolution.
Me, that's the thing. I believe in evolution.
Me too.
And for me,
the science. I mean,
a
it's there.
lot of even been looking at some of the older paths that have been pretty much stomped out by Christianity. But even those ones, you have to look at them with a grain of salt of now we know so much more things than they did back then.
Right.
So we can put an explanation to things that they couldn't back then, that they were just attributing to
Right.
a divine power.
Right.
But really, it's just science.
Right.
You know?
Like, oh, that owl screeching? That's Lilith.
Yeah.
Like,
mhm.
you know?
Yep, exactly.
Like, no,
Like we have a little
not.
bit more of a sense of how the world works than they used to.
Yeah.
So for me, like a lot of religion or spirituality is just figuring out what something means to you at the end of the day. Like,
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
everybody has a billion different depictions for something that is the same thing.
Well, and I know we've talked about this, but I have never really found a religion that really reflects my core values.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, and I think that's most important is like you need to find what your core values are
Yeah.
and how.
Your core values is what helps you form your belief system. Mm-hmm. So
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think the Bible is stories, compiled stories.
I do too.
That's what I think. And I definitely believe in evolution.
Yes.
And being someone that likes to have factual information. And I know there's plenty of historical documents out there, but like everything,
they're interpreted differently.
Different.
And, you know, the thing is, too, is like, sure, Jesus probably was like a real person. Jesus, I always have kind of felt differently than God. I
Yep.
believe that Jesus was a person in history. He maybe that was his goddamn book that was originally found.
right.
Who the fuck knows?
Right.
But I believe that he maybe was real.
Right.
But I think that the Bible is just a tool that a lot of people have used to further their own power and their own agenda.
Exactly. I totally agree with that. But then I think about is you really, really religious people, they think anything to do with like magic and spells is like evil.
Yeah.
But yet this dude magically impregnated this woman
Exactly.
without having sex with her.
It's pure hypocrisy.
Magically impregnated her, but yet you want to stone witches.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's why the whole idea of, you look at some of these Christian nationalists today, people use the stories from the Bible in order to try and force their way of living on other people.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not, the Bible, in the stories that come out of the Bible, from what I know of them at least, do not necessarily promote that. It's, like I said, I see it as more of a cautionary tale. Here are ways that you should live your life if you want to get into heaven one day.
Right.
You know? Because they really kind of just boil down to, don't be a shitty person.
Yeah.
Everything is just twisted and
It is. And
twisted,
to me,
and then throughout history, they're taking twisted versions and twisting them further. Like,
to me, shit just doesn't add up.
yeah.
It just, God created the Garden of Eden and Adam and Eve. Mm-hmm. So where did heaven and hell come from? He created them too?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I do not know. But to me, it's just, so he has all this magic.
Yeah. It's just it just is a different way for someone to take real life things and put a spin and be like, this is where that power came from.
Right. And to me, I am more of a scientific, I am more of a proof person.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to, say that historical documents aren't valid or aren't what they are.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that they're factual.
It doesn't mean that you just blindly believe them either.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because all the parts of the book of Genesis, I almost said Genesis again. The book of Genesis, like all the ones, Isaiah, John, Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, like whoever, they're titled after the chapters or the books.
Yeah.
Those are the people that wrote them. It's really compiled stories from other people's perspectives.
Right.
That is another thing that I found in researching. Sections can contradict each other
Because they're
you
different
have
people.
John telling you this way and David telling you of this way.
Yeah. It's all nonsense. I mean, to each their own, But I do wholeheartedly believe that all of these debates and arguments that people have about religion are fucking pointless because it's all the same thing, just viewed in a different way.
Yeah. And that was exactly why I read you that thing, because it's all the same thing.
Yeah.
You just view it differently.
And that's fine.
Why do we have to argue about it?
It's great
Yeah.
that everybody has a different way of seeing this one thing.
Right.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
But not everybody thinks like that. A lot of those people think that you're less than them if you think differently, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or the way that they believe that things are is the way that the entire world should be. So.
You know, when I was doing this, I kind of thought to myself, like, oh, you know, like, this may lead me more into maybe reading the Bible or looking into the Bible more, because I don't.
Yeah.
You know, no. By the time I was done, I was like, you know, I still actually have no fucking interest.
It's all just bullshit.
It is. And I'm like, I don't.
And I shouldn't say that because I've never read the Bible, but I have been to many different churches of many different Christian denominations, and to me, it's all just bullshit.
Right.
Like, you sit at the altar and you talk about all of the things that all of these people in your congregation have to do to get into heaven, and then you take their money, and then you do what with their money?
I have no desire to cover
cult leaders.
Cult leaders for sure. I have no desire to like research anything that has to do with the Bible. But I think it would be really interesting to talk about those mega churches.
Oh, yeah.
Those greedy fucking bastards that live in like $1 million estates.
Yeah, that are now going to get federal funding if this
Yeah.
House of Faith goes through.
Oh, God. Oh, so irritating.
Yeah.
Well, all I can say is thank you for listening.
Yes. And if you liked our conversation today, if you would like to see some more content, you can find us on Patreon. If you have any topics that you'd like to hear us cover,
And if you have any sexy pictures of Jesus, please feel free to email us.
send those too.
Send us Jesus nudes, please.
Yes. All right. We'll see you next time.
Bye.